Pakistan today is navigating through a minefield of contradictions, one where every decision is layered in confusion. Every actor is second guessing the next move, and clarity has been thrown out the window. When unpredictable decisions become the norm, it's the sign that there is an institutional panic. And make no mistake, panic is dictating our politics today. Let's begin with India's failed adventure that gives us the unexpected, breathing room, especially for establishment. Modi's hegemony dream collapsed, not just militarily, but diplomatically too. The narrative didn't hold either. Trump's ceasefire mediation was a humiliation India couldn't spin. And yet, despite this defeat, India hasn't backed down. From high-risk naval exercises, Indus water treaties, using the proxies like TTP in KPK and Balochistan, BLA, they are preparing for the next round, but indirectly, meaning not militarily wise. Trump's support? It's not support, it's a leverage. Trump doesn't do alliances. He does transactions. Today, it's all Pakistan he's flattering. Tomorrow, he's back to India. Or worse, complete disengagement towards us, where he is hitting our head with the sanctions already lurking in their Congress. He has alienated Europe, threatening for 50% sanctions, favoring Russia against NATO, and is now pressuring Israel, but rather cautiously than any other country, such as South Africa, where he is casually using the word genocide but ignoring what is happening in Palestine. He's a wild card, not a reliable partner. If we treat this American tilt towards Pakistan as permanent, we are walking blindfolded into a minefield. Amid this chaos, something changed internally too. Imran Khan and establishment appeared to be talking again. Quietly and cautiously, because they don't trust each other and also because they need each other. Our establishment understands this grace period is temporary. They surely understand it. But sudden shift in sycophancy and this new appointments may pressurize to stand ground, like the power, and end up losing it all, because nothing is absolute power. Khan, on the other hand, despite jailing pressure, hasn't moved an inch from elections, the demand of elections. That's his line in the sand. And unfortunately, Noon League is the establishment's line in the sand. Now imagine whose argument is weak. So you will understand what will happen in the future. Meanwhile, cracks are widening after this India fiasco, widening in this whole power circle. PML-N, Maryam Nawaz, Nawaz Sharif are facing open defiances, not just from rivals, but from within. Figures like Faisal Vawda are back, targeting their PML-N's leadership, exposing the party's panic. Journalists like Najam Sethi is being, labeled mad by PML-N spokespeople because he's delivering the very signals that prove that dialogue is underway. But since we are here, Sethi also suggested not to get carried away with the illusion of new appointment. I've been saying it for a very long time. Well, here comes the curveball, the appointment, the Field Marshal announcement. General Asim Munir is suddenly given a 5-star title, and no one can explain how or why. Is it a promotion, an honorary role, a ceremonial badge? The Constitution doesn't mention it. Army Act doesn't specify it. There's no precedent except Ayub Khan, which is before the Constitution and who appointed himself under the martial law. Well, Faisal Vawda, once again, is pouring fuel to the fire. He's saying declaring Field Marshal will now appoint all the military heads, all the defense heads. Field Marshal is for life. Immunity from persecution for life. Sort of a kingship. and whatnot. If this is all true, then we are rewriting military's hierarchy with, unfortunately, zero legal cover. So there are three possible motives behind all this. Maybe PML-N did this in panic mode and is offering unprecedented, appeasement. Secondly, it's a respectful send-off, decorative and symbolic. Thirdly, it's a serious power play, one that hints at a deeper repercussions, or sort of, I could say, accidents. But here's the problem. Ceremonial or not, it causes structural chaos. If it's a real promotion, who fills the now vacant 4-star slot? 4-star general. Will there be another army chief because there is no other appointment for the 4-star general? Will the Field Marshal be above all chiefs? If yes, then why do we have the post of chairman joint chief at all? And if the legislation is needed to create this all, legally, then we are walking straight into institutional turmoil, and which may again create a situation where all parties chip in for the favor from the establishment, as in the case of General Bajwa's extension. This isn't about one title. This is about rewriting the balance of power. If the Field Marshal role becomes codified in law, especially within all the perks of this, whatever being told, then it's a direct hit to both democratic process for future in Pakistan and civil military boundaries for future, because everybody will want it in the future. Meanwhile, the judiciary is in comatose. Courts won't say a word amid all this, just as they maybe did, to challenge Bajwa's extension back in the time. But this time they won't, unless public pressure builds or the game within, disguised as the legal clarity, is demanded. That which both of the case seems likely if pursued with the personal agendas. If pursued with the personal agendas for this appointment. Look at the economic of your country. The country is on ventilator right now, as Khwaja Asif said quite years ago. IMF negotiations are bleeding us dry. Inflation is set to rise again. It will. Levies, duties, new taxes, none of it is sustainable. And while Gandapur is issuing defined statements such as he will not cooperate as a CM KPK with the IMF terms. Now, this can also result in governor rule, which will again be disaster if pursued, and which will prove that this is pursued by the personal agendas. But where economy is bleeding, where you can't give relief to your salaried class from the taxes you have imposed on him, Faisal Vawda here is advocating, or even your minister, Hassan Iqbal, is advocating for raise in defense budget. But that's not strategy. That's purely delusion. PTI, however fragmented, has proven its resilience. Imran Khan's base hasn't deserted him. People still support him. Social media warriors may be silenced, but Khan's demand for elections is now backed by shifting public mood. It is backed by shifting public mood for the longest time. His recent messages, also echoed through his emissaries, confirm one thing at least: compromise can be entertained by Khan, but only on the process, not on principle. Internationally, the China dependency trap looms large. Beijing may help counter India right now, but it won't fix our internal insurgencies or political dysfunction. Its interest in CPEC, China's interest in CPEC doesn't translate to strategic rescue missions, especially in Afghanistan, where Taliban doesn't fully control the state. And groups like TTP, who exploit safe havens there, China won't crush them, but it will ask us to resolve issues with them. What will we do then? Will we, give them place again or talk to them again? We call them fitnatul kharij, right? Anyway, the establishment, if it believes that China is the replacement of West and we can do our adventures, like, yeah, I'll come to the adventures, then I think China doesn't do political babysitting. It does investments, and it's already in talks with Afghanistan to join CPEC, while TTP activities will still go unchecked. Back home, Balochistan burns. Maran Baloch remains in jail for preferring peaceful protest over violence. I mean, what's the state's strategy here? Pick up the arms and we will talk to you, or protest peacefully and we'll call you that you are, proxies for all these terrorists and we'll crush you. That's not counterinsurgency. That's just denial. Punjab is simmering again. Now, the locus of power, the Khan factor is still there. Maryam Nawaz Sharif's aura, or the expectations from Sharifs to develop the Punjabiyat, develop, spend all the money on that, is gone, is not working. The Khan factor, once thought buried, is rising with the new voices like Ibaad Farooq or others whose spirits remain high despite of rigorous military trials and punishment for 2 years. This isn't just political turbulence, it's a build-up. The kind that, if misread, can lead to disastrous miscalculation. So what now? If this Field Marshal move is symbolic, it will send dangerous signals. If it's real, it creates vacancies, legal contradictions, and institutional imbalance. If the government pushes legislations to validate it, as Vawda suggests, then we are wandering in uncharted territory, potentially setting up a constitutional crisis again. There's a talk of technocratic setup, the adventures I was talking about, of disqualifying certain PTI MNAs and ruling through governors, not needing People's Party, reshuffling the entire system. But these fantasies rely on faulty promises, such as being backed by China or being babysitted by China, which will not happen. Well, these green corporate dreams, mineral narratives, silent coups, they will all backfire. So remember, this is not a long window. Trump's unpredictability, India's strategic miscalculation or recalibration, regional insurgencies, economic collapse, and legal absurdities. They are all compounding. And when the pressure builds without release, explosions happen. This is that moment for the establishment, hence they feel the breathing space more than Khan. This is the moment for them. Use it wisely or lose it permanently.